let Commodore resolve this challenge.
How to deal with China, as we said in the opening round of our remarks, is that there is this contradictory tenor or the contradictory compulsion that China's trade, economic and fiscal profile has now acquired a certain macro contour, and in all likelihood this will grow, all things being equal, in China. Now the other major economies, as I said, United States, EU, India, Japan, in different ways, are part of this lattice of globalization. So when we talk about the tightrope, this tightrope is not in isolation, it's not in a vacuum. It is part of this matrix or lattice of globalization. I personally have said this in the past, I'm saying it again, I think the other countries, and this is to extend Dipankar's point, have to engage in such a way that they compel China to stay within the framework of whatever be the issue that is being contested. Whether we talk, for instance, about South China Sea maritime rights and the principles of navigation or the management of the global common, I think we have to be able to demonstrate that determination and make it very clear that this is not a binary choice. That to encourage China to stay within the fold, but it's going to be very difficult, because if the nuclear example, the nuclear domain is an example, China has demonstrated that it will proceed on its own autonomous path with very little respect for the sanctity of the global norm. At the same time, of course, it would claim to be a responsible power, and I think this is the political challenge. And to make a point that all my other panelists have also said, to reiterate it, I think each of these countries have to enhance their own comprehensive national power, and here I think the United States and the way that the US orients itself would be very, very significant, because today, whatever we may say about China, the US and EU are still the two largest economic blocs in the world. They have a certain technology advantage. So while China is on that path, I think it's not as if there are no leverages, but it would require some fairly, I would say, determined thinking about how to create these leverages, and if push comes to shove, perhaps use them.
What's your take, sir?
Well, I think we should continue to improve our relations with the United States and with Japan, with Vietnam, with Australia, and with the Southeast Asian countries, because these are the countries who are closer to China and are feeling the pressure of Chinese power to some degree as much as we are. That is one. The other is, of course, we must strengthen our Navy. We should continue to hold naval exercises with the United States, Japan, and others. We should use China's interest in making investments in India as a pressure point, and not open the doors too easily and too widely, because yes, at one level we feel that China has the resources and we can leverage them for the development of our infrastructure, but China is equally interested because they have overcapacity. They don't have sufficient markets for their products. There's a big domestic economic crisis, which is why this One Belt, One Road projects are being promoted. Finally, we should react much more strongly to their claims on Arunachal Pradesh. Our responses tend to be rather weak. And at the same time, we should continue to dialogue with China bilaterally, have high-level visits, continue to talk to them in the format of RICS and BRICS, because we should not lose leverage with the United States and Japan and others, because the moment we walk too much into their camp, we lose leverage. So we have to play our cards very carefully and engage all of them, just as the United States and Japan and others are doing. Their relations actually with China are deeper and stronger than India's relationship with China, and yet they are competing with each other and have difficulties, so we can play the same game.
Okay. Professor Kondapalli, let me change this question for you. Taking all factors into account, you are a Chinese expert. Can we, should we trust China?
Once President Ronald Reagan said about Soviet Union, which Dr. Manmohan Singh repeated in the Lok Sabha, in the parliament a couple of years ago, which is, we trust but we verify. each and every, with our Falcons, with our satellites, with the GPS systems, and so on, we should verify whether there are any troop build-up on the borders. And as Prime Minister Modi asked President Xi Jinping last September, are there troops being built up while you're here? President Xi Jinping said he did not know. But on the ground, there were 1,000 troops built up in Chumar area in Ladakh. So trust but verify is one which I think we have heard about it. But I would like to add a few other things as well. What should India do? I think we need to focus at the domestic level. Our material capabilities have to be enhanced. No nation will be respected until our material capabilities are enhanced. Number one, and of course the per capita income and the welfare of the people, that has to be kept in mind. Secondly, I think we have to strengthen, once the material capabilities are strengthened, we can have our energies channelized into conventional and strategic capabilities also enhanced. Thirdly, I think we should consolidate our position in the Indian Ocean region. Fourthly, we should send naval contingents to the South China Sea, where Indian economy has 55% of its trade passing through. So it is a life and death situation for the Indian economy if South China Sea is let off. So I think we need to focus on the South China Sea as well.
Okay, Professor Prabhakar, what is your prescription?
Same thing. It is rise of China, rather peaceful rise of China and globalization advancement that has brought the situation into where all these countries are, and we are. Japan and some East Asian countries know it best how to separate politics and economics. The very secret of Japan's success in high growth sphere from 1952 to 1972 was that they separated politics and economic. Politics, they left it to the care of US. You deal with the US and, with the world, and we are your ally. So that has gone on, and Japanese economic juggernaut had gone on and spread its benefits to the whole of East Asia. And it's East Asia which constitutes even now 34% of global growth. Economic situations, especially sometimes, the island dispute, Senkaku, what otherwise Chinese call Daiwo, Japanese nationalized it in April of 2012, and that is what has provoked China to pounce upon issues, statements after statements. And otherwise it was quite peaceful. I think, when Kakui Tanaka and Shamanlai met, Shamanlai said, if there is no oil or other reserves around Senkaku, we are not going to make an issue of it. If. UN such reports in 1969 mentioned that it may contain some resources, which was very ambiguous. So, politics and economics, China and Japan have known how to keep it separate, sometimes bring it in clash with. I think going by that experience, the present big dispute between Japan and China is not going to stay for all the time. Neither the issue is going to be sorted out, but it will go to the back burner. I think if we can learn that, we can walk the economic rope with Japan easily, casually, and politically we have no issue with Japan and we can be comfortable.
Thank you.